Yeah, we got our Avery Rembao episode dropping here tomorrow. We're recording this on October 13th, Friday the 13th. That's kind of ominous.
Yeah.
But
Creepy.
nonetheless, on this Friday the 13th, we had a fantastic episode with Avery Rembao.
Yeah. No, I just liked how he was pretty honest. And honestly, I didn't know if I was expecting all the honesty because Avery's such a well-spoken kid. You know, you could see that too. He is such a well-spoken kid. But I liked how open it was. We got him to open up a little bit more as it progressed, as stuff went on. So I thought it was a good conversation with him, just to kind of hear everything.
Well, I think
about his journey.
There's, you could sense some uncertainty, obviously, with the coaching change, and going into a new system in his fifth year and all that type of stuff. But his mindset and his just kind of approach of how he approached this senior season for him, I think speaks volumes of the kind of dude and the kind of player he is.
Yeah.
Man, it was good talking to him. That's the first time I'd ever really got to know him.
Yeah, talking about his growth there, dude. When he came in, he was he would say things, but he was still fairly quiet kid, and he was always smart. He's the smartest kid on the team, obviously. We compared him to Riley Ryan. When you do that, you're in great. You're in the levels of greatness at that point.
Yeah.
But
literally,
for those of you who don't know Riley, we'll get him on an episode here at some point to let you meet him. But
you think Riley would do an episode?
I think he would. With me and you, I think he would. And we could, yeah.
If we could get the legend RR on here, that would be fantastic.
That's going to happen. We're going to have to do that now. Matter of fact, we'll text him this week and RR. You're on an episode soon. But no, I think this is so cool to have like a bunch of people have reached out to us. You've seen those tweets, but they're just excited that we're getting to get more people on this from the RMAC because that's kind of what we know the best at, and that's where most of our following is coming from. So getting people to get a little more personable with the players, get to know them off the court, what are their interests, all that other stuff too is good.
No, I think like you said, the RMAC is a league that's a good league that kind of goes under the radar a lot. And yeah, it's D2 and all that stuff, but there's enough following, especially in Colorado, man. Like you hear about RMAC schools left and right here in Colorado, and obviously that's where the majority of them are, but it's just it's a lane where we can just get some insight, get some background into these programs that, maybe you don't get through a 3-minute soundbite of an interview, with a radio station or whatever.
Absolutely. That was the whole goal of it, just kind of get a little bit more in depth into what we like to talk about. And it just creates better conversation to have people on the show. I know we talked about that when you were in Spearfish last weekend. Like we needed the guests so bad to just kind of bring it back up. And I'm not saying like we're doing a terrible job. It's just guests help. It's more interesting.
Oh, it's a great thing. I got one question for you about Avery. What do you see? Do you see like we said, he had 16 and he averaged 16 and a half last year. What do you see him doing this year? Do you see him right around there? Do you see him up in that 15, 18 range?
I think 16 to 20. He's that capable. And just seeing like when I told him like how raw he was his freshman year, he can score at every level where some kids can only score at, getting to the rack and shooting threes. He scores mid-range, three-pointer, layup. He can do it all. And those are the greats. Those are like the really good ones that make a name for themselves in this conference. So I think he'll be like that. It'll be interesting with the new coach and all that stuff and that transition. But like he said, it sounds like, to me, the confidence I get is it sounds like everyone is super bought in. And when that group is bought in, some of those kids they're smart basketball players and stuff. So Avery's going to have that fifth year where it's like, man, this is just easy, confident, slow. The game slows down, kind of like how Nick did his senior year, just went off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, especially like you talked about with his experience being a fifth-year guy, the you don't see the improvement that he's shown for no reason, and I think it from our conversation that the people will hear, it sounds like he put the work in this summer to maybe make a leap again, which would be awesome to see. I think who better to do it than Avery? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. With that being said, well, we're going to jump right into episode 29 or episode 30. I'm sorry.
30,
episode
baby.
30
yeah.
With Avery Rembao. So hope you guys enjoy it.
What's your favorite memory playing CSU Pueblo in the past few years? Because I got mine of you.
Playing CSU Pueblo.
Maybe that's too specific, but yeah, I just want to hear that,
no,
especially because I got a good one for you.
It's a good question. I've had a couple moments for sure. I actually got my first ever college dunk playing CSU Pueblo my sophomore year.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
I remember that.
A little flare screen. I slipped and guy hit me, and unfortunately there was a Thunderwolf below the basket, and I kind of dunked on him a little bit too. So
I remember, because that would have been 2021, right? Was that your sophomore year?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same play, because I remember, obviously when you're in college basketball for a while, you see some vicious dunks, but that was one of the most vicious ones I've seen, especially on us. You know what I mean? Like, I remember that was the game you guys were tearing us up, and then you just punch one like that, and I was just like, okay,
yeah,
that's how this game goes.
That was the game. That was the game me and Matt combined for 78, right?
Yeah, you and Matt combined for 77, but our starters combined for 102. Dog, our starters combined for 102. What?
Yeah. No, that was a fun game. That was a really fun game. I remember that.
Oh wait.
That was an example of you guys clicking. Like, you guys were clicking on all cylinders. And we had just seen you guys the game before.
No, that was the first game. That was the first game. Because you guys played you guys first. No. We went to you guys first, and then that was a Tuesday, and then Friday you guys came down to our place.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Because that was kind of the start of
ask you that.
Matt's little run that year, where he was like hitting at the end of the year, and both you guys kind of just were like, confidence through the roof. To be honest, though, my favorite memory, not only that one, but because that one ranks up there since we smacked y'all, but the Grant Wilkerson buzzer beater.
Oh yeah,
because I gotta go shake Tate's hand after the game, and I was like, yeah, gotcha. I gotcha.
That was wild, man. That was wild.
Hurt. Especially because I don't know if Grant had hit a shot that game. If he had, he only had a couple points, but when I'm sure you guys have had this feeling where, like, as the play's unfolding and like the clock's running down and you're seeing the shot that's developing, you're like, oh, this is not good. Like, I remember feeling that way, as I don't even remember who it was, but I remember you guys got downhill, or maybe it was a drift pass.
It was Matt. Matt drove to the bottom and then hit the drift for Grant.
Yeah, it was a little drift pass to the corner, and it was cash.
Because y'all couldn't make a damn free throw to save your life, bro. Y'all shot 23 of 37 from the free throw line.
That was our Achilles heel all year.
Oh, Abe, you remember
that game didn't come to mind because I wasn't on the court at all. I think I fouled out in like 15 minutes that game.
Yeah, you're right. You were in foul trouble that game.
Avery Rembao, 15 minutes, 5 fouls. Damn, good memory.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great
were
memory.
you still
Jeez.
playing like the 4 at that point?
Yeah, I think I was playing like a mix of the 3 and the 4 at that point,
3,
but
4, yeah.
yeah, because I was guarding a lot of bigger guys too.
I
So
think you were guarding Meekness, and Meekness, when he
yeah,
gets going, he's tough.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a big body to stop for sure.
yeah, it is.
Especially for me.
That's that was just one of those. I think we would tell you in the scout, try your best. I mean, is what it is. It's gonna be hard, but
Y'all
I'm
got
gonna
the
just
dub.
take that opportunity though to welcome everyone in episode 30. 2 episodes in a week though. That's the first in a long time.
It's big time. For
We're
me.
working
It's
overtime.
The guest is our guy Avery Rembao from Western Colorado. I got a chance to coach him my first 3 years there. So appreciate you, man, for coming on this. This one I was looking forward to once you said you'd come on. So
No, for sure. Appreciate you guys having me on.
absolutely,
It's an honor and a blessing for sure.
I don't know. I just thought the idea of having like the top guys from every team, kind of a top name from the team, to just get that out there for everyone to listen to, just gets you a better connection of the conference. And I don't know. I stand by the RMAC being one of the better conferences in D2, and it's not really respected that way in a sense, I guess, judging by last year when we had so many ranked teams and couldn't even host the regional. But it is what it is.
Bush is still
Salty
in his
about
feels
that.
about that.
As you should be, bro. Definitely got hosed on that one.
Oh, hey, you had a body last year too, by the way, against Shattering, and that was because I just seen the video. It was at home. You came down on a fast break and yanked that thing back, and Abe starts running down the court like this. I was like,
"Oh, there, bro." Honestly, I didn't know what to do, so my arms were just flailing around. I didn't even know what I was doing at the moment. So. Everyone was going crazy, so I thought I had to do something at least.
Robel was right next to you. He's like, "Yeah, Avery." I was like, "Damn, these guys are going crazy right now."
Yeah.
I think that made top plays on the RMAC. I'm pretty sure. I think I remember seeing that on Instagram.
Yeah.
Avery, I want to ask you this, just getting going on, talking about some RMAC stuff already. But you're going into year 5 and I'm looking at your numbers, man. Like, you've had a solid career there, especially once you got to your sophomore year. But last year, especially 16.5 points a game. I don't know how accurate, Western's athletic site is. I know sometimes these D2 sites can be a little shoddy with the actual stats, but what do you see your role being on this team, especially with a new coach coming in and having this progression that you've had? What do you kind of see your role being in this new system?
No, for sure. It's a great question. I kind of just want to, bring in some change, and I think we're doing that with the new coach. I think, changing the culture around here. It's been a losing culture for a long time. I know my freshman year we had a 500 record, and that was the best record
in like 20 years.
30 years, yeah, something like that. So, I just want to, be a leader to these young guys and to these new guys coming in, and kind of, just change the culture around here a little bit.
I like that.
I love that.
Because that shows your maturity as a leader, man. And that's amazing, because that's just a lot of growth over the last couple of years. I mean, like, you know what I mean? And it's not in a bad way. It's just everyone grows and stuff. So, like, you being able to say that is pretty big. Going off that question, though, too, I just want to – I know we talked about this off the when we weren't recording yet, but I just – like, I guess a lot of kids don't experience the summer you guys experienced. It was a pretty unique one, right? You at the end of the year last year, you find out that you don't have a head coach anymore, and then in the summertime – you hire one, and 2 weeks later he sends a text out that he says he's applying somewhere else. Kids lost scholarships, and then you bring in a new coach ultimately from the D1 level. So I guess just kind of talk about just I guess because that's a roller coaster of emotions. So like, I just want to know like how your summer was truthfully, and just knowing like just uncertainty again, because we've had a lot of uncertainty in that program.
For sure. I kind of, when we did have the first new coach, everyone was really locked in, and we kind of had a sense of where we were going with things and how things were gonna work, and we kind of we're starting to implement that at the end of the year too. And then all of a sudden that changes, everything changes. You kind of lose focus a little bit, but you never let any outside noise affect you personally.
Yeah.
At least that's what I try and do. So I went into the summer with the mindset that I'm gonna get better in some way somehow, and I put on 15 good pounds, and I feel like
Damn.
I went to the summer with a good mindset, and I feel like that's how a lot of the guys on the team went into it with, because you can't control what happened to us.
Yeah.
It was a tough situation, a weird time, but all the guys, we stayed talking to each other throughout the summer, and we stayed together and made sure we were holding each other accountable too. So I feel like we had a good summer overall as a group too. So.
That's good. That's good.
I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bush.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say, I love that it's still that family feel with you guys, with the guys, and I said that on every recruiting visit we had. I was like, if you're looking for, I was just like, if you're looking for a place where you're gonna feel welcomed at all times by the best player all the way down to the kid that sees no minutes at all and knows that, and this is your team, because no one treats anyone like they're better than anyone off the court or on the court. I was like, that's the coolest part about this group, is how humble everyone really was, and how much love you guys had for each other, because you don't see that all the time with college basketball teams. Like, you see cliques develop, and this group will go that way, that group goes that way, and stuff like that. But I felt like you guys did such a good job at keeping it as a team the whole entire time, even when things went south.
For sure.
Yeah, I love what you said, man, about just the culture thing. And I think kind of tying both of our questions into one is, I'm sure you're starting to see as a leader and as a fifth-year senior, correct? You said you're in your fifth year?
Yes, sir. How
really culture will take care of itself and establish itself in the right way if you guys handle your business and what you can control. And I love that you said there are things that happen in this game, and with coaching changes, with roster changes, whatever it might be in the college basketball world, that you yourself can control the work that you put in. And it sounds like you really took that to heart this summer and wanted just to have the best experience possible for your fifth year senior year. And that's where it starts, if you ask me, is, look, we're going to handle our business day in, day out, and we'll live with the results from there.
Yeah, definitely. You can't do anything. Like you said, you can't control the results, but you can't control the work that you put into everything. So, yeah.
All right, we're gonna press the rewind button a little bit here, because basketball obviously started somewhere for you. So like youth ball, kind of what, just like, because I know your older brother played at UNC in Northern Colorado and stuff, and Tate actually played against him and everything. And so,
oh really?
Yeah, I can't, dude. I'm drawing a blank. What was his name? Oh, Cam Michael, right?
Cam Michael.
Yeah. he played that game when we went down there. But just kind of like talk about just what got you involved with it. I mean, I know your family is a big basketball family with your sister playing at Creighton and everything like that. So just kind of tell us about your youth years.
Yeah, for sure. I came from a basketball family, as you said. My dad played high school basketball. My mom ended up going to Western Nebraska to play JUCO basketball, and then it just carried on down from my brother played at UNC, as you said, went to Air Force Academy originally, played there. And then my sister, obviously, she's probably the best one in the family. She played at Creighton, made it to the Elite Eight. I still can't believe that.
That was cold.
That's like a dream. Yeah, that's like a dream. But I'm super glad I got to witness that. But yeah, I just started out at a really young age. Parents got me into it. Almost immediately. Put a ball in my, the cliche, put a ball in their hands in the crib. But yeah, originally started out doing I think it was called Little Dribblers in Berthoud, Colorado. Just a bunch of little kids, running around with the basketball in their hands, doing probably not very insightful stuff basketball wise, but yeah, just came up pretty much same way as everyone else. Got into rec basketball, and then I actually didn't start playing AAU until like 7th, 8th grade. And I was a post most of my younger days because I was taller than most everyone else in Loveland, Colorado. But
when did you
I'm
really
thankful
grow?
for yeah.
Sorry, not to cut you off. When did you really get taller?
It was summer going into my freshman year of high school. I was only 5'8" my 8th grade year, and then I grew to 6'3" in that summer. So huge growth spurt. But yeah, I'm thankful for some of my coaches that I grew up with, my dad included. Putting the ball in my hands a lot in order to gain those guard skills. So I could develop in that way. So just thankful for my journey in the basketball world, and see it coming to an end here pretty soon. So
go ahead.
Go ahead. When did you start to see kind of some options for like playing at the college level? When did you kind of start to see that you were going to be a guy that might be able to sniff some of that?
Yeah, so my summer going into my sophomore year, AAU, I started playing. I went to a team in Denver. Started playing in some tournaments that had a little bit more exposure. Western started talking to me that summer, I think. So originally first got my first little interest pretty early on in my high school career. So thankful for that, and then exposure just grew from there. So
beautiful.
No, that's good. That's cool. So decision wise, when it came down to like picking your school to go to after high school, what kind of led to how many? Did you have other places other than Western? Like, what other places did you go to, and like what ultimately what was just the final deciding factor for you?
Yeah, good question. I had offers from this NAIA school out in Arizona called Embry-Riddle. They're a good little engineering school out there, and they do a lot of engineering stuff. So I was really interested in that. And then I had Fort Hays State as well, and Western. Those were my top three that I was choosing from. I ultimately chose Western just because of honestly, the visit that I had was probably the best, and I met all the guys on my visit, and they they treated me very well, and ultimately I decided on Western because they have this cool little program that I'm in. I'm in the mechanical engineering program, and we have a partnership with CU.
That's right.
So I'm ultimately going to get my degree, my mechanical engineering degree from CU. And I just thought that was a really good opportunity and one that I just couldn't pass up. So that was my deciding factor on choosing Western. So
see, kids don't understand that, man. I had a presentation last night here in Sundance where I was talking to the high school kids about like where to go, and Tristan even said it yesterday. His deciding factor was it felt like home. Yours is you're looking out for your future, right? A lot of kids just get that. Oh, facilities are sick. These are all nice. We all know Western's facilities aren't the top in the RMAC, so obviously, like, it's just cool for you to hear
that
you
gym
say,
gets rocking, bro.
No, it does. Trust me, it does. But it is old. That building is old.
Rocking.
I love playing in that gym. I love playing in that gym. It gets super loud with not a lot of people.
Some of the loudest games that I remember as a player and as a coach were in that gym.
No, for sure.
Man, it gets gone.
I guess the point was more or less just like not picking it just for, just the look and the everything about the basketball part. A lot of kids, I feel like they do that and then it just goes south super quick because they didn't expect, school life to be what it was because they didn't look at that, like how you looked at CU being that being a deciding factor for you. So it's like, all right, I want to do this, so this is going to make my stay here worthwhile.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's we've talked many times on this podcast just about the importance of understanding that, maybe basketball is your priority where you're wanting to go, but it's got to fit the other areas of your life too, because I know for me as a player, and I'm sure maybe you relate to this too, is there's going to be times where the basketball ain't fun. Like there's going to be times where it's like you don't want to always go and you don't want to get up for weights and all this type of stuff. And so if you don't have those other outlets at these places or at this spot that you choose, like yours being the academic program, if basketball is numero uno all the time, there's going to be times where you're down in the dumps, and there's got to be those other things to kind of bring you out of that or keep you around.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy because I've had times where I couldn't wait to do math and physics after basketball practice, which I never thought I would say that. But.
Bro, he's like he's like Riley Ryan, dude. He's the smart kid on the team that you could be like, hey man, how'd you do on that test? And they look at you like, I think I did pretty good. And then you're like, oh bullshit, you got a 98. Riley Ryan would do that to Tate all the time, and it pissed him off.
Man, I hate that.
I literally did that the other day. I was like,
yeah.
I went up to one of my teammates. I was like, bro, I just failed the test. I got the score back. It was like an 85. I was like, hey, that did not feel like an 85.
Yeah. That's always a nice little treat though, like when you feel like you bombed a test and you actually come out of there with a solid grade. But yeah, this dude, maybe you know who Riley is, but we played with him and he was a great student, but he would do that to me literally every test. Be like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. Like, man, there were a bunch of them I didn't feel good about, and it comes back, it's in the 90s every single time. Every time.
Riley, we're just like, Riley, you've been in the library for 2 weeks preparing for this test. We know you know it, dude. You don't gotta lie to us.
Well, and I remember I told him one time, I was like, you need to stop saying that because it's not true. We both know it's not true. Stop saying that.
That's funny.
Also, you're a Denver Nuggets guy, aren't you?
Oh yeah, huge.
You had the best summer of your life. That was the greatest day of your life, huh? And I know that was probably the most stressful Game 5 you've ever watched.
Oh, bro,
I was stressed.
I was stressed the whole playoff run, bro. Every game I was stressed. But yeah, I still can't believe that we are the NBA champions. That's wild to me.
I ain't gonna lie, I was
Do
more
you
stressed
got your
than
jersey? That are you like the type of Nuggets fan that you got your jersey and you throw it on when they play games, or are you just gonna watch the game?
I'm not a huge jersey guy, but
Yeah,
I I really do be like right in front of the TV watching.
tuned in.
Yeah,
you.
just
You
yelling
yell
at
at
the
the
refs the
you.
whole time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you that way? Because when Steph Curry
Yeah.
plays, that's how I'm just in front of the TV, pacing back and forth, just getting.
Yeah,
That's how the whole King
yeah,
series was for me, dude. I was getting so mad about certain things. Like I get that. I get what you're saying there.
yeah.
I had a question on that.
We talked to. I want to ask him this real quick because I want to get a lot of guys' thoughts on the NBA, what the NBA is going to look like, especially with a lot of these trades going down recently. We talked to Tristan about it a couple days ago, but who's kind of your um, favorite? Maybe it's still the Nuggets. Who knows? Like, who's kind of your favorite to emerge as the NBA champion? I guess.
No, I think the Nuggets really do have a good shot of repeating. You know, you have you have guys like Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. that last year was their first like healthy year in a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and just getting and they came into that like not really having a summer of off season work either. Like they were rehabbing and
Mm-hmm.
not doing like skill work. They were like trying to get their bodies back. But once they get like they've had this full summer to like actually work on their games and instead of rehabbing this whole time. So I feel like Jamal and MPJ have a chance to like break out and really do something crazy this year for the
Mm-hmm.
Nuggets. But the league is crazy right now. It's like it's scary, honestly. Some of the teams that
Mm-hmm.
are being put together, like
Let,
Damon Giannis is that's like the perfect. Dame is like the perfect player to play with Giannis. I think
Mm-hmm.
like someone who can create their own shot like that is exactly what Giannis needs. And
Absolutely.
obviously the Suns. I hate the Suns, but they're they're cold. They're cold.
You hate the
did
owner.
your
You just hate the owner.
Yeah,
did your hatred
and
for
I
the
hate
Suns
I hate
start?
Devin Booker. I don't. I really
Did
don't like
it
Devin
start
Booker.
with that series? Whenever it was, what series was
Yeah,
that?
when Jokic got the technical, went on campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Look,
like when that rivalry emerged, whatever series that was, the Western Conference Finals or whatever.
yo, Jokic's
yeah.
brothers are so funny though, because they were ready to scrap, but then the amount of smack they were talking to Suns fans this year was hilarious. They walking out the arena like waving at everyone, bye, bye, like they're so savage.
They brought it. They brought it to Twitter too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I need to ask you this. So I got this question I asked Hills already. Hills, you can go first since you kind of already thought about it. Abe, I'll give you a little time to think about it. All right. So I saw this question. I was talking to someone today. Draft lottery, right? Because it got brought up in the NFL too. How the worst team is number one. The worst team every year gets the rights to it.
hmm
So, in your opinion, here should the worst franchises that are consistently bad, that are like have been consistently bad for years, Charlotte, Detroit, all these teams, should they constantly be rewarded with young talent and having the chance to be the first picks, or should the teams that made the playoff run, should they that are actually trying to win and do all that stuff, should they have a chance at being the number one picks first?
I think I think they do it the way they do it now to keep the balance of power from going too one sided.
That's
You
fair.
know, man, that's a really good question. Like, I think I see what you're saying as far as like rewarding the good performance and not,
Mm-hmm.
and especially discouraging tanking. Like, it happens in every sport, tanking to get, some couple prospects or whatever. But um, I just think if you maybe you add a little bit more incentive or a little bit more probability to get a higher pick if you win the championship or whatever it
Okay.
might be. I don't, you can, I think, incentivize winning in other ways, but I think you still have to allow those bad teams to try and get the best players in there, because at the end of the day, like, you don't want it to just be a monopoly of talent at these three teams because they win all the time. You know what I mean? Is that kind of what you're saying? Like, the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
teams
yeah,
get the higher draft picks?
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I just think it's a balanced power thing. Go ahead.
I think the way they do it now is kind of perfect.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it comes down to the front office
Mm-hmm.
and what they do with the picks that they have.
Fair.
Jokic, the best player in the world, was the 41st pick in the draft
That's
during
true.
a Taco Bell commercial.
Love that point.
Like you can find gems,
Brock Purdy.
but yeah, exactly. And then you have guys like Anthony Bennett, who are the first overall pick, who don't do anything in the NBA.
Facts.
So I feel like bad teams are bad for a reason, and these consistently bad teams are bad because they can't draft either.
That's a good point.
So
Yeah, I think that's an incredible point. That was one
That's a
thing
really
that I
good
was
point.
like, I was kind of thinking about when you had texted me earlier today, Bush, was
Mm-hmm.
like you said, Avery, it's once they're drafted there, now it's your organization's job to develop them into the player you think they were going to, or you thought they were going to be when they were drafted. So yeah, like, you want to reward winning, but you also want the opportunity for others teams to emerge, because without competition there's no entertainment value, and the NBA there wants to be entertainment, and I feel
Yeah.
like some of the most popular years in the NBA are when teams that you wouldn't expect to be great end up kind of emerging and coming out of nowhere, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
creates a lot of excitement. But Avery brings up a great point. It's the organization's job. Once they draft somebody, they got to develop them.
That's a good point. I like that, actually, because that makes me think of the Kings now. This year was their
Mhm.
first year in the playoffs in
Great
17
point.
years, and or something like that, and then they almost took the defending champions to the brink of elimination. You know what I mean? So that's a good point. I agree with that. I guess I was just looking more of like, too, like, you see all this wasted talent sometimes. Like I just don't feel like you should roll if you're consistently not being able to produce talent. Like, why should you be rewarded to keep getting those opportunities, I guess. But I see the point of also trying to keep it balanced and everything like that, because it's like, all right, the Warriors won last year and they could have had the number one pick, and is that fair too? Maybe not. I guess my only thing is maybe give the finals, two teams that went to the finals, very low chances, but at least put them in the lottery. They're not going to be guaranteed number one pick, but maybe they could fall into like that 10th or
Exactly.
11th pick, or something like
I
that.
think that's a great alternative.
I
Yeah.
guess that's where my mind was going, because you see all these, like, Jacksonville for football is a dumpster fire before the new coach happened, and it was like, man, Trevor Lawrence is getting sent off to the Wolves when this is a great quarterback, but he doesn't have a great team or foundation behind it. And that's where I guess I was looking at it too.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that you got to look at the player as well, because there's those players that like Johnny Manziel comes to mind, that if you look back, and how when his documentary came out,
Mm-hmm.
I started seeing a bunch of clips of like former coaches or former scouts saying like, there's no way this dude should be a lottery pick. He should maybe be a second round or third round, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying like basically don't fall for the hype. Like, yes, he was an incredible college football player, but there are major, major flaws. And I think that can be related in all sports where it's like, I don't know. I don't want to disrespect some of these guys, but like Kwame Brown, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe he wasn't that good. Maybe his game didn't translate, or maybe, and again, maybe that wasn't the case. But I think there are also errors I think kind of Avery mentioned this. He was like, there's errors that organizations make that, okay, it's bad management, and they made a horrible pick for a number one pick. This should not have been the guy.
That makes sense. Hey, man, be careful about using Kwame Brown's name in slander. He might come
Yeah,
out.
I
The
know.
wrong person
and I
gets
know
that. He might.
I know he got worked up. That Kwame, that was no disrespect. I know you could bust my butt too,
dude. When he did that with Shannon Sharp, bro, oh my god, I've never laughed so hard at a video of someone just completely roasting someone like that.
Yeah, bro. Oh, man.
There's like a couple lines in there that we can't repeat on here, but oh my Jesus, dude, I was like, this guy's hilarious right now.
Oh man, he was in his bag.
Abe, who's gonna win next year then? What's your way too early pick?
I mean, I'm rocking with my Nuggets through and through.
Respect.
I think, yeah, we're gonna repeat.
Respect.
Dynasty incoming.
I think.
Go ahead, Tate.
This is just to be quick. I think we've talked about this a couple times, but the Nuggets are kind of recalculating the NBA a little bit, and teams are now having to find a formula to beat them. It's kind of like it was with the Warriors.
Yeah, it's back to that old school. You need a big and a guard that can really go, and you're seeing that with teams and stuff. But I guess I want to hear your take on the Lakers, okay? Because in my opinion, the last couple of years, the Lakers have gotten the same treatment as the Dallas Cowboys, where everyone's like, "Oh, they're just so great, they're gonna win." But are they really the team that can get over it? You know what I mean? They put on a great run last year, but I want your thoughts on that team.
I think this is the best offseason they've had in a long time. They got pieces that they actually can use in a good way that actually fit around, their key pieces. When you have Russ on the same floor as LeBron and AD, that's not enough spacing in the NBA.
Yeah.
You need to have shooters around LeBron. Like you see some of the best LeBron teams, they've had some of the best shooters ever, and like J.R. Smith and Kevin Love and some of those guys that can space the floor. And I think the Lakers did a good job this offseason, which also pisses me off because I really don't like the Lakers.
I feel that, bro, because you've known my stance on LeBron James. You're the whole time we've known each other, so we don't have to go in that rant. Everyone knows my stance there, but I always look at it as it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's this every year. It's the same. Oh, they put together a great roster surrounding Bron. This should be the one. This should be the guys. And it's we get halfway through the year, and then let's see. Gabe Vincent might not be producing, and then L.A. Laker fans are gonna be, we got to get him out. It's him. He's got to go. He's got to. You know what I mean? It's just constant stuff like that I get so annoyed about with that because it feels like the Cowboys hype all the time.
Yeah,
I think what Avery said is my bad. Sorry.
No, I think that kind of hurts, everyone that does come in, too. There's so much pressure playing with LeBron and playing for the Lakers, given that. I feel like dudes just aren't themselves when they come in and play with them, but that's just me.
I think Avery, kind of what Avery said, this is the best constructed roster they've had, especially with like you said, having a dominant big. If Street Clothes can keep his jerseys on, maybe maybe they'll have to go with Thomas Bryant. Is Thomas Bryant even on the Lakers
No, he's
anymore?
with the Denver Nuggets.
There you go.
Nah, I think we didn't
You didn't
re-sign
keep
him
him?
this
Oh,
offseason. Mm-hmm.
I meant Hachimura. My bad.
okay,
Hachimura.
yeah. Rui.
Sorry, but I think long story short is that their roster is way better constructed than it was before, and I think they upgraded in a couple spots. So I don't know, man. I think they'll be right in the hunt in that Western Conference. To be honest with you,
That's fair. Like you said,
because they got LeBron James too.
as long as street clothes can stay healthy and Lay Liar can keep can keep changing the media references, then hey, we're good to go. I mean, the man gets swept and he says, I think I'm gonna retire. I just can't do it. And bro, we know you're not gonna retire. Stop taking away from the Nuggets, sweeping your ass. Secondly, if you're injured with your foot like that, needed surgery, then you can't play. So if he played, he's healthy. So hey, I think we're seeing the decline of some people's GOAT, and it's a fact.
You notice how Bush said he wasn't going to get on his soapbox about LeBron, and he just
well, you had to bring up LeBron James.
LeBron. You brought him up first, Avery. I want to shift back to Western and just kind of get your perspective on what it's been like transitioning to a new system on the basketball floor there at Western. We talked to Tristan last episode about changing programs. You know, obviously he's now at Fort Lewis. But kind of similarly in your case, what's it been like transitioning to a new coach and a new system for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's always going to be a learning curve with new schemes and new systems. I think we're in official practice number 6 right now, so we're getting into the heavy stuff now. But I feel like all the guys are doing really well, picking up the new concepts and everything. And I don't see it being much of a problem, but there's always that learning curve, and I feel like we got some smart guys on the team, and we're picking it up just fine.
Good. What's your roster? Are you heavy on seniors, or you kind of got a young roster? What's your roster looking like? Junior,
We
senior?
got a little bit of mix of everything.
You do.
We got some young guys. We got some older guys. A lot of returners. Some new folks coming in too. So we're all just super excited to get things rolling and play for this new head coach and do everything we can to like I said before, change the culture.
Dude, I'm so glad that DC got to come back. I love DC. Dude, DC is the ultimate teammate, just the type of dude that you need in your program. He knows his role. Mm-hmm. He's known his role since the minute he stepped on campus, and he never once complained about it. The dude showed up and worked every day like he was trying to compete for a starting spot, which you have to. But he ultimately his mindset was, I need to get these guys better. I need to be able to do the best I can to make sure that they're getting the good reps that they need. So when at first when it was like DC, I saw he was in the transfer portal. I was like, damn man, that sucks. And then I saw him on a picture on the deal. I was like, oh, let's go, DC, got to stay. That's dope.
For sure, I was super happy to get DC back here.
Mullet man, bro, we convinced that dude.
I was gonna say,
best hair in the RMAC.
I know that's true by the mullet and the stash I see in his pic right here, his profile pic. I can tell he's a program guy.
He the summer before, right before our first Christmas break, he had long hair. Like his hair was super long and it was constantly getting down in his face. And I was just like, DC, you should perm that and put it in a mullet over Christmas break. And he came back with a perm and a mullet, and it stuck ever since.
I love it.
Yeah. DC was all buzz cut in high school, and you can see it in his previous headshots on the team page. Yeah, freshman year he had the buzz cut, and it's a whole new man. Whole new man.
For real, he is. I want to see.
So this is a
Damn.
perm right here in his pic.
Yeah, he definitely got it permed.
Nice.
There's a he sent me his picture when he signed that year. His hair was so short, dude. Like it was
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was just.
I see the pic right here.
It was the last cover guard before you went down to the straight blade.
Yeah.
Who's rooming with you? Are you by yourself or are you still with Jules?
No, I'm with Cade in DC.
Where they at?
I think
Is Cade
they
here?
are not home.
Damn it.
They're not home.
I wanted to say hi to
myself.
Cade.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You guys still at that house, right?
Yeah, still at the
House.
crib.
Dude,
Yeah, good little spot.
You got any funny Bush stories from his time out Western?
Any
for
funny
sure.
Bush stories?
There's a couple, I'm sure.
Bro, I should have came prepared with this one. I suck at coming up with stuff on the spot.
Off the top,
trying to remember stuff, but
I'm trying.
there's definitely a couple. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I lost the bet to Alex, and I had to do the 5-1. Bro,
Yeah.
it sucked.
Did you make it?
Oh, I made that. I walked from I walked from the middle of the paint to the baseline and was pointing at the clock because I still had like 10 seconds left.
I do remember that.
And Jay Will was like jumping on me. He's like, "Let's go!" I was like, "Yeah, look at the clock, guys. I did it." Bro, I just remember it was a 5 a.m. shoot around, and I had to run before we even started because I made a bet about a movie that I knew I shouldn't have made. That immediately afterwards, someone comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, you know Alex is like the biggest Star Wars geek known to mankind, right? Like he watches this like it's a ritual." I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Shit. Let's hope that let's just pray by the grace of God that." Oh yeah, I was like, I pray by the grace of God that I'm right, but I wasn't. Dude, my knees were barking, my lungs were barking, everything was.
Avery, when you enter retired life, you'll start to know what we're talking about. Just
Abe
I'm
knows.
feeling it right now, honestly.
Abe knows. Abe saw Jesus his freshman year. Poor kid took a trip with God one morning, and we were just lucky that he was able to hold his hand the whole way and come back safe. Because
freshman year conditioning was different.
We did the 22. We got up, made him run the 22. Well, he had to run the 22's test and pass it. And that's a kind of ridiculous condition. Any type of conditioning test in Gunnison sucks because of where the elevation's at. Like it sucks. And then we went out to the track and made him run 2 miles. So he had to run 2 miles, or was it a mile or 2 miles?
I think it was a mile, and then we did 2 cell towers.
Mile and 2 cell tower runs. So this is up a gravel dirt hill.
You're running up a mountain, pretty much.
Yeah.
Avery came down the second time, just like guys were like holding him up, face just white. He survived, and I learned a lot about Avery that day. I was like, you know what? I had a couple questions about this guy if he can make a couple things, but I'm not ever going to doubt this man again. That was the day I gained every ounce of respect that I have, and it never left. Because I would have,
I would say,
bro, after the mile run, I would have been like, I quit. Here's my stuff.
I would say after that second cell tower, my body stopped at the top, but my soul kept going.
Yeah.
You can see it in my face, bro.
There's a picture.
Oh,
dog, there's a picture. And I might honestly clip this and get the picture from like Grant.
That's hilarious.
I might put the side by side with this. Dog, this kid was seeing Jesus during the picture as well. It was.
No, Grant definitely has that picture.
That's the funniest saying I've ever heard. And that's something like if you've been through college basketball conditioning, you know what you're talking about. Like everybody has that moment where like they're not in their body anymore. It's just something
out of body experience
moving. Yeah.
Explain because we made BH. They had to do the basketball mile. I think I told you guys kind of what it was, or some of you guys. But Tate, explain the basketball mile to him real quick.
It was 8 deep 12s. So a deep 12 was 12 touches, so 6 down and backs. And you had to do it in, I always forget the time, Bush.
It was
Was it
like
a
a minute
minute
10 for
20 minute?
guards. No, it was a minute 10 for
Yeah,
guards, a minute 20 for base.
yeah. You had to do it in that amount of time, and there you ran 4 of them back to back to back to back. Got a 5-minute halftime, and then you ran the next 4. But your time to rest was when like the bigs were gone. So like when the guards ran, bigs were resting, and vice versa. But that was about as bad as we had, other than the one on the track.
Dog, I did that one. That one sucked. That was the stupidest.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Bush.
but that was the stupidest idea I ever had in mind. To be honest with you, Avery, I would rather run Dub Mountain than do this test that these guys did because it was just dumb.
Bush woke up feeling like Superman. He didn't even have to do the conditioning test, and we're like, it's like 6 a.m. and we're like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you running? You don't have to do this right now. Save yourself.
You had to see how you had to run 10 minutes or 12 minutes. He put 12 minutes on the clock, and you had to see how many times you could get around the track in 12 minutes. And in order to make his standards of a good athlete, you had to make 2 miles in 12 minutes. And it's like, bro, that's Olympic standards right there, I think.
No shot I'm ever getting that.
No.
Bro.
Yeah, no way.
Are you
Avery,
guys are
I
done
got one
running
more
Dub-
question
okay,
for you.
Go ahead.
My bad. Let me ask this question. What? So, do you have another year of eligibility
After this year?
after this year?
No, I'm done after
You
this
don't.
year.
So you're done after this. What do you want your stamp on this program? You got 1 year in this new program with this new coach. What do you kind of want your stamp to be on this program as you're kind of heading out for your last year, and especially when you got these guys coming up that are going to try and carry on what you started? What kind of do you want that to be?
Yeah, it's a good question. I really want to just be labeled as a good leader and someone that taught something good to somebody, whether that be like basketball wise or even in life. Just like I don't know. I want to be like labeled as a good leader, and even if we don't like win games this year, I want to change that culture. Like I said previously, this year it's gonna be tough. Like with all the new things coming in, but I feel like I can do my best to kind of change a couple of things and lead the guys the way they're supposed to be led. If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And it's I can tell that you have a desire to do things the right way, and a desire to not just do it for yourself, but to pass it on and to equip others with what you've learned and the things that your failures and your successes and everything in between. You have something to teach them, and I'm encouraged to hear that that's a priority for you too, because that takes a lot. It does take great leadership, and it takes some vulnerability to kind of put yourself out there like that. So I'm very encouraged to hear that from you.
Mm-hmm. No, bouncing off that, it just shows. I think one thing that you do a good job at, and it taught me too, I think, and what kids notice from you, honestly, is that you don't cut corners. You do everything the right way, the way it's supposed to be done. You do it the way it needs to be done. You don't find the easy way out to try and get to your goal, right? I think that's the best quality that you've been able to grow at that's turned you into the leader you are today. So that's one thing that I wanted to point out too, that's a good thing to have with you, is just not cut corners. My last
Thank you. You guys are
question.
gassing me up right now.
Last
Hey,
question.
man.
Have to. Confidence is key, brother. Last
For sure.
question is what? Oh, damn it! I kind of forgot. No. What is your advice? What is your advice to like, you know, kids that want to come up to the next level? Like, just the way with things are now, with just the culture, like with culture basketball, how social media is such a big thing with film and just expectations and stuff. Like, what's your advice for kids trying to get to the next level?
Learn how to play defense.
Absolutely.
There's so many guys that can go out and get a bucket, bro. But at the end of the day, if you can't play defense, you're not going to get on the court.
That's such a fantastic answer. Oh my god! I was expecting you to like say
I was
something,
thinking something
say
different.
something kind of deep or whatever. But he says, "Learn how to sit down in the stands and play defense."
It's so true, though. We talk about
That's
this all
so
the time.
true, though.
I mean,
Yeah.
Avery had to learn his freshman year to see the court. You had to play defense, and it's something he got really like a lot better at.
I didn't know how to play a lick of defense when I got here, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you were decent at taking charges, though, because I mean, you were so little, people could just knock you over. So I mean, that was something you could have.
Were you a string bean when you
160-pound
first
head.
got to? Yeah.
160 pounds, bro, soaking wet.
Raw,
Mm-hmm.
the rawest skill you could have, though. Like there was one open gym you had that me and Shafe walked in and watched, and I texted Ben. I was like, dude, this kid can get a damn bucket like the hardest way possible. It's so like because you love the pull up. That's your shot is your little pull up.
Yeah.
And that's so lost. That's a lost jumper nowadays, and it's so rare to see. But once Abe gets to his spot, it's like okay, let me get a hand up, but I'm not gonna be able to contest it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We that was the scouting report on him when we would play him and be like, look, he's gonna get to his pull up every once in a while. Like he'll hit one or two, and it's gonna be good defense. You're gonna be right there, and it's gonna go in. We just gotta keep playing. Like he's gonna hit one.
For real. Okay. All right. I told Avery he's a part of the pick'em this week since he's on.
Okay.
So I got the
Let me
games
find
out.
my picks.
I got the games. I do. So and I gave him a heads up on these teams. So the first game,
Yep.
number 8 Oregon at number 7 Washington. I got Washington. Hills has Washington. Who do you got?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Washington as well.
Mm.
I just think the quarterback play is
Michael
a little
Penix.
too much for Oregon.
Penix for Heisman.
Is it Penix or Penix? Which
I don't
one?
know. It's one of the two. I think the second one sounds a
I
little.
call him Penix.
That
Let's
sounds
hope
a little
it's
sus.
I call him Penix just because I think it's funny.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right. Number 10, USC at Notre Dame. Hilgs picked USC. I picked Notre Dame.
I'm gonna rock with USC.
Yeah.
I'm just a
Caleb
quarterback
Williams.
guy. I love me some quarterbacks.
Okay.
And Caleb
That's
Williams
fair.
is that guy.
Especially when they can just like. I saw a comparison someone said about Caleb Williams. They were like, he's Aaron Rodgers in his prime right now.
Mm.
Yeah. That post was I saw it today too. It was like Aaron Rodgers-esque era.
Which I think, yeah, it was. You're right, Aaron Rodgers-esque, yeah.
Number 25, Miami at 12, North Carolina. Because me and Tate both got UNC.
Yeah, after that meltdown from Miami
That's what we
the
said,
weekend.
man.
I could never rock with that squad ever again. That was pitiful.
Doc, how could you play for that coach again? I'm not going to lie to you. I'd be raising some questions the minute we get into that locker room. What the hell are we doing, man?
Like, you should honestly be fired for that. That's a fireable offense.
Absolutely. The second thing I said to that, I'm like, if you're the quarterback and you know it, you should know better. If you're the QB, I'm calling an audible. Hey, you know what? No, we're
Absolutely,
not running the ball.
like
I'm mean.
coach.
I'm taking a knee. Greedy
just go,
kid.
coach. No,
Um,
we're taking a knee.
Secondly, I just noticed this, Hilks. Thanks for joining the Tar Heels side, brother. Thank you. Thanks for joining the real side of basketball or of teams.
Let's not go that far. All right, buddy. It's a strategic college football pick. I will never, ever do that.
I'm gonna pull a game on here for the Heels basketball team that if you pick against the Heels, you're a dummy. But anyways, last one, KU and Oklahoma State. I have a feeling I know who you're rocking with.
Yeah, Rock Chalk, baby, all the way.
Absolutely,
Upset
I knew that. Abe's the biggest Kansas Jayhawk fan you'll ever meet. Tape.
Oh, really?
I texted him. That's why when I texted you, I said, "Congrats, bro." I was so salty you guys beat North Carolina. I knew you were happy, so I was like, I'll text him because KU always hits that.
I was the opposite of happy at halftime, bro.
Oh, I know. I was.
That game.
To be honest with you, though, I felt like that halftime we were up 20 some or whatever it was, but it felt like it shouldn't have been that way. It just felt like the press that you guys had in the first half made it closer, and then we just made shots for a stretch of time where you guys didn't, and it was like we have to keep making shots because KU's the better team here.
Yeah.
What do you feel about them this year? Chill out, bro. North Carolina all the way. We beat your guys' bum-ass team with Coach K's last year twice. Sent him to retirement.
Hey, it's Duke basketball norm to be like a national championship contender for a year or two and then go out in the first or second round.
Secondly, what kind of all-time coach puts that much pressure on a freshman class and announces a retirement tour? Who does that? That's not right, man. You can't do that to him. Roy Williams would never.
Man.
Roy Williams would never.
I can't judge a man by what he does, you know.
Last thing, Ave, and then we can wrap this thing up. Who's your college? Are you rocking with KU this year? Because they're gonna be stacked with Hunter Dickinson on their team. I think they might be the best team in the nation.
Yeah, that's a big addition for them. We always play inside out anyway, so adding one of the best big men in the nation is going to help a lot.
In a scoring finesse, like a finesse scoring big. You've never had that. Like I think the best big you've had in time was like Azubuike, but he was just a massive ass body down there, you know?
Yeah. No, he's a great player, and I think he'll help a lot. So yeah, I'm always rocking with the Jayhawks. I think we got a good shot this year. I'm not too familiar with their team. I don't really follow like.
McCullough's back. I know that.
Yeah, McCullough's back. He's solid. He's one of those team guys that'll just do whatever you ask him to do too. So
I wish Jalen
was Parker Braun by chance Christian Braun's brother.
Has to be.
He is indeed. Yeah.
I knew it.
I wish Jalen Wilson would have stayed. To be honest with you, I wish he would have stayed. But
he was a bucket, bro.
I don't know how well he'll transition NBA wise, to be honest with you. But I was just salty because last year I was talking so much about KU, like, man, they're the best team. And my buddy's like, well, put your money where your mouth is. I was like, all right, I put 50 on them right at the start of the tournament. I was like, there's nobody beating these guys. And then that's
why we lost.
No. That's not why
you put money on it, Bush.
Oh, I was so convinced they were going to win. That was the most convinced on a team winning going into the tournament that I have ever been convinced on.
Yeah. Fortunately, we couldn't repeat, but
hey, this year. Don't you know? This is so random because you were talking about him earlier. Don't you know Michael MPJ or like the family?
I do. Yeah, we know the family pretty well. My brother actually knows them like really well. But
hey, man, send that invite for us right here. Kitchen Hook. I'm
closer with his brother than
which one's his brother? So. What was his brother's name?
Jonte.
Shoot, I don't. Mm-hmm. He's got a following too. I like I told Tay, I'm always like chasing. Deep sea fishing for the big fish that'll get some. Yeah, I got a decent sized. I got a good trainer that wants to get on that Reed Ose guy that replied to you
Oh,
a couple years
really?
ago. He's like, yeah, late
I follow
November.
him.
He said late November, hit me up and I'll definitely come on. I was like, bet. I love that.
Yeah, it's big time.
Beautiful.
So, but I don't know, Hills, you got anything
Beautiful.
else?
No, sir, man. That was
That was a good one.
man. It was good getting to know you, and just through this hour and a few minutes of talking to you. I know I never had a conversation with you, but man, I'm rooting for you this year, and kill it in this redshirt senior or this 5th year senior year.
Absolutely.
For sure. Appreciate you guys having me on, for sure. It was fun.
Yes, sir. Good luck this year. You guys follow Ave, Western Colorado University, new coach. I think there's going to be some surprises, some eyebrows raised this year, which is it's a fresh start. It's a breath of fresh air, and that always seems to help everyone. Other than that, I can't wait to see you on January 13th, my guy. You better get some buckets for me.
Yes, sir.
But
Beautiful.
you know, Kitchen Hook Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe. Peace out.
Peace.